Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of Striking a Chord on TBK Radio. I am Amanda. With me again, I have Rich, our producer, and this time I also have another Rich, my media assistant, and a brother as well.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
It's too early in the morning. I just watched my wife.
Too early in the morning?
Yeah, I just watched my wife pour milk before cereal.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, I literally don't know how to handle life right now, so I'm just confused.
But it's also 7:30 in the evening.
Yeah, it depends on who you're asking.
So you saying morning is a little weird because I know you're in the same time zone as we are.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I get up at the same time you do.
Oh, this is true.
I mean, I didn't get up.
You have odd hours.
Yeah, I didn't get up today until 12:52. So.
Oh, that's nice.
It was nice. Yeah.
I wish I could sleep late.
I was already working 6 hours by then.
Yeah, same.
The wonders of working from home.
No. Oh, you, yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, yeah, no. It's great.
So last week we had a ton of new music to go over, as well as some tour announcements, some artists to watch for, and a whole lot of other stuff. Tonight, we have a bunch more new music for you, and we're also going to recap the ACM Awards, which were Sunday night. So that's going to be interesting. More new artists. Well, not so much new, but again, because the podcast is new, I'm giving you some artists I think you guys should definitely check out. Be on the lookout for. And a little bit of music news, a little bit of tour announcements. This week we also have a hot topic of the week, which is me getting on my soapbox and ranting for a little bit about something.
Oh no!
So that should be fun.
I didn't know about this.
What were you gonna say?
I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah.
It's against me, isn't it?
No, it's not you. It's been a segment. I just haven't had anything to rant about until this week. So that's going to be in there. And then our feature segments this week are going to be a review of the new George Strait album, which came out on the 29th. And then a review of the Cadillac 3 show from their Friday night show at Joe's Bar on Wheat Street in Chicago. So another jam-packed episode today. So I hope you guys are ready.
I know
hope everyone did their homework.
I may not have.
All right, so we're going to start with the ACM Awards. Did everybody watch Sunday night?
I had something else to cover for the website.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. I have not. I'm just going to bow out.
But I'm sure you've seen the posts and everything.
Yes.
Okay. So my highlights, I was really, really excited to see Dan and Shay win Song and Single of the Year, as well as Duo of the Year, finally. I feel like they've definitely had a really, really great year. Tequila was huge, and I mean, those guys just worked so hard. So it was really great to see them take home some awards tonight, or Sunday night. Crickets? Anybody?
Oh, no, I honestly, I haven't even looked at who won awards until just now.
Oh, okay.
Because again, covering something else, you kind of just get lost. Things got lost in the shuffle on Sunday, and
Gotcha.
I went, "Oh, there was too much going on."
Yeah. What about other Rich?
I'm not a big Dan and Shay fan. However,
that's not true.
However, Tequila was a very good song, very well written. We've actually seen one of the writers on the song in a songwriter circle thing.
Yeah, Jordan Reynolds. He's super talented.
Super talented, so I thought it was well deserved, mainly for him.
Not just for him. Nikita Knight also helped write the song, and she's really talented. She's got her hands in a lot of number one hits. I thought the Marion Morris and Brothers Osborne collaboration was really good. It was a solid performance. That song, All My Favorite People Do, is off of her recent album, Girl.
Yeah, I'd pass.
And Ashley McBride, I thought, was one of the highlights of the whole evening. Her solo performance of Girl Going Nowhere was excellent. Her performance with Eric Church was
amazing.
It was a great performance. I don't know if I fully understand his song "Snake" or "The Snake," but
it was supposed to be
I thought
about
it was a good
politicians.
performance. Yeah, I kind of picked that up on some of the websites later.
However, I think what everyone was saying was a little, I don't know, far-fetched or
people definitely
necessary.
kind of picked it apart a little bit. But the performance-wise, I thought it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they did well together.
I love Luke Bryan and Thomas Rhett, but I'm not a fan of either one of their new songs.
Absolutely not.
So that was a little, uneventful for me, their performances. It was nice to see them give more stage time to George Strait.
Well, it's about time. We not only got one performance, but we got 3, which I thought was amazing.
Well, yeah, I could have done without his duet partner on one of them, though.
Which was?
Whoa,
Miranda Lambert.
That's actually a song that they did together on his last tour when the last stop was in Dallas, when he had everybody out with him. Yeah. So that's why they picked that song.
I really loved Reba's comment in her opening dialogue about the ACM's freezing out women in the Entertainer of the Year category, because it's completely true.
Unless if you're Carrie Underwood.
No, she wasn't. There was not a single female in the Entertainer of the Year category this year. In the past, she's been nominated, I believe, but she never won. And this year, there wasn't even a female nominated. So I enjoyed Reba's comment regarding that.
Reba's awesome.
Yeah.
She is a national treasure.
Yeah, definitely. She's so funny. I love her. Dan and Shay and Kelly Clarkson's performance of their song "Keeping Score," which is off of Dan and Shay's last album that came out last year, I believe. I thought that was excellent. Little Big Town's performance of their new song "The Daughters," which we're going to talk about that song a little bit later in my new music alerts. But I thought the performance was really, really great. They're another one who's getting some controversy around that. But to me, it's like the same thing with Girl Crush. People hated on Girl Crush until they fully understood it, and then the song became a huge hit.
That happens a lot with music.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think their message was an important one to send. The message that they were sending in the song. And then Blake's performance of his new song, God's Country, was badass, top notch, in my opinion. The background effects were really cool. I thought it really fit the song. Oh, it's definitely one of my favorites by him. It's an awesome song. I really don't understand how you don't like it.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, well, not everyone can have good taste, right?
You cannot talk about the one thing that I got picked up from the ACMs was Miranda Lambert's dig.
Oh,
Blake Shelton.
You know what? I'm not surprised, but she should not. There was no reason for that.
I'm sorry, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
What is the point? He's there with his new girlfriend. Not new because they've been together for years now, but what is the point of you saying that? Really?
What I don't know if people realize is that she's actually been singing that line in the song a lot live at other shows. And some of the outlets have picked up on it, but I think people were pretty still shocked about it.
Well, I'm your own personal concert's one thing, but to say it at an award show when he's there, that's just not necessary. Why create drama?
But it got people talking about her, and that's all that really matters half the time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't know. Team Blake all the way. I'm sorry.
I am too.
That, but I don't care.
I like Gwen Stefani, but most of the problem here is that when I saw the moment, I went, "That's epic."
She did that shit on purpose, and that's what's so aggravating. Midland, I don't like them. They look like they're trying too hard all the time, and so I don't know if anyone else read this article a while back about them. But they were basically manufactured by Big Machine, the label that they're on. And it's just, to me, it just comes off as fake. They're not authentic at all. Their sound maybe it's supposed to be that traditional country sound that they're trying to build off of. But the fact that they were manufactured, they were put together, and they just they look like they're trying too hard. I don't know. I'm not a fan, so I really didn't care for them at all.
I think their album, when it came out, was one of the best albums that year. However,
but they didn't write any of the songs.
This is true. However,
I don't even know if they picked the songs.
A couple months after it came out, we actually saw them, and we were right in front of the stage. And if I didn't know the words to the songs, I wouldn't not have been able to understand what the singer was singing. That's how bad they sounded.
And I've seen them live since then, and they're not good.
It hasn't been much better.
The cover songs that they do, they've just butchered them. So I'm not a fan of them. I was kind of glad to see that they didn't win any awards.
Are they the band that looks? Are they the band that looks like Riders with the Sky had children with a bunch of hipsters?
Probably.
Okay.
It was nice to see Brooks and Dunn back on the ACMs, even if it was just to present awards. And they did perform as well. I forgot. They performed with Luke Combs, one of the songs off of their new Reboot album, which again we're going to talk about during the new music alerts segment. The crowd shots that we got to see, I love seeing Keith and Nicole together. I love how much she embraces the country music community. Lindsay L looked stunning.
She did.
Keith Urban's performance of his cover of Burden was phenomenal.
Amazing.
I think really he just stole the show. Carrie's performance was entertaining. I know she got a little flack for that. I'm not 100% sure why, but I thought her performance was entertaining. It was nice to see the album of the year go to a female artist, even if it was someone whose music I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but it was good to see it go to a female artist. I think Casey Musgraves definitely has earned it. And at least it wasn't Miranda for a female artist of the year.
She didn't have a new album.
It's basically how I felt. No, for female artist of the year, I'm saying.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's cool. I kind of delayed that one a little bit. But yeah, I was kind of sick of seeing Miranda win female artist of the year every year. So it was nice to see somebody else win that. I would have liked to have seen Ashley or Marin win it, but again, as long as it wasn't Miranda.
I think Ashley's very underrated.
She's very underrated, and I hope she starts getting a whole lot more attention, especially on radio. The performance featuring Chrissy Metz from This Is Us, and then also with Carrie Underwood, Lauren Elena, Mickey Guyton, and Maddie and Tay. The song Standing With You from the Breakthrough movie that Chrissy Metz is in that's coming out or just recently was released. I thought that was a really powerful performance. Mm-hmm. And I was glad to see it get a lot of positive feedback. I was happy to see Keith win Entertainer of the Year as well. He's always super grateful, super surprised, super humble. So that was really nice.
Who is up for Entertainer outside Keith?
It was Keith, Jason Aldean, Kenny Chesney, who I thought actually might take it. Who else was there? Chris Stapleton was nominated, and I think Luke Bryan.
Okay, so did only one person have a tour last year in that grouping?
No, I think they all did. Pretty sure Jason Aldean had a tour last year, last summer. And Luke Bryan had a tour. Stapleton did. Keith, I believe, did too. And so and Kenny. So really, they all had tours.
Because I don't remember seeing Keith Urban's tour at all last year.
I think there was certain dates because the year before he also toured.
Oh, so it's kind of a run over.
Right.
Gotcha.
And that's really, I think, how a lot of them were. It was really cool to see an artist who I've been supporting for a while now. Who, I mean, most people aren't gonna if you just listen to mainstream radio, country radio, you're not gonna know his name. But Brandon Ray, who's somebody that we've featured on our website plenty of times now, was recognized with the AFLAG ACM Lifting Lives honor for a lot of the work that he does. So that was really cool to see. And yeah, unless you guys have anything else for the ACM recap, I think we covered just about everything exciting that happened.
I got nothing else because again, yeah, I did get to see Joan Jett perform what I had to cover, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that caught me off guard. But outside that, no, we're good.
So moving on to new music alerts. Brooks and Dunn released their Reboot album, which is basically it's a reboot of their. I don't think it's a single album. I think it's just some of their biggest hits, and then it's duets with new artists in the country genre. So John Party's featured on there, Ashley McBryde, Luke Combs, Cody Johnson, Brett Young, Midland, unfortunately,
Casey Musgraves,
and I believe there's one other person, but I'm not sure. So I thought overall it was a pretty good album. They definitely slowed down some of the songs, which some of it worked, some of it was kind of just okay. The only one on there who didn't want to change the song at all, and he walked into the studio basically saying that, was John Party, because he was such a big fan of the song that he did, which I believe was My Next Broken Heart. Yeah, so he basically just threw he sang his vocals on there, but he kept the arrangement and everything the same because he didn't want to change a great song. So I thought that was pretty cool.
They did Boot Scoot and Boogie with Midland.
Yeah, I know. It was disappointing.
I don't even know if I want to listen to this album.
The album itself is good. Like, it's not bad. I'm just, like I said, I'm not a fan of Midland. I know people were raving about Brand New Man because it's the one with Luke Combs, and I mean it is a good version. It really is. Again, it's not that I'm not
live.
Yeah, he has. It's not that I'm not a Luke Combs fan. I think there's just too much hype surrounding him. The other person I was thinking of who was on this album was Kane Brown, and he did Believe. And that was actually a really good version. I thought that what he added to it was notable. And then Casey Musgraves did Neon Moon, and they definitely slowed that one down. It was a little bit different. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of different. I guess I'm just used to hearing the original version too much.
She actually did that when she was here, when she opened for Little Big Town last year.
Okay.
So, which was pretty cool.
I was a really big fan of the song that Brett Young did with Brooks and Dunn, Ain't Nothing About You. One of my favorite Brooks and Dunn songs, and I love Brett Young. Pretty much anything he does is going to be good. And this one, they definitely changed the arrangement up a little bit, but I didn't feel like it took anything away from the original song. So that's probably my favorite on the album. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a solid reboot. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a Brooks and Dunn fan. So, did you have any new music alerts? We can go back and forth on these.
Yes. Well, after the ACMs, Keith Urban dropped Burden as a single on iTunes and Spotify and all those other places. That's been on my repeat since the day of the awards. It's been amazing. He did a really good job with this. A strong message. His vocals are very powerful. The arrangement of everything on there is just really great.
Yeah, and that song, for anyone who doesn't know, was originally recorded by Foy Vance in 2016. Not somebody I'm familiar with, but I think after Sunday, everyone's familiar with that song now. It's definitely, like I said, an excellent vocal performance from Keith, and just a song that I think everyone can relate to at some point or another. And then another new music alert was Sierra Ray. Her 3-song EP, Country Enough. She's a new rising artist for anyone who hasn't heard of her yet. Go check her out. She's got lots of sass and lots of attitude. Her song Meet My Ex sticks out the most to me as a potential hit on that among the 3 songs. And then In Love, Lonely, or Just Drunk is a fun song about a position I think we've all probably been in at some point or another. And yeah, I think she's really got an interesting voice. It'll be cool to see what she does going forward. And then, do you have another one?
Yes. Don't know how many people know this band. They're classified as a blues band, but they mix blues with R&B and soul and some big band sound from Memphis. This band called Southern Avenue. They released a new song called Whiskey Love off of their new album coming out next month. Great song, very groovy, and it's about whiskey, so who wouldn't love it? Definitely recommend checking that out. The other one that I had is a new album that came out the same day as the George Strait. Throwing it back to the 80s, LA Guns released a new album, and it's pretty amazing. It's very good. It's the second one they've released within under 3 years, I believe.
Okay.
With Tracy Guns and Phil Lewis. One of my favorite tracks off of there is called Another Season in Hell. So if you're an 80s fan, definitely check it out.
Interesting. So there's another rising duo, I guess you could say. So Megan and Liz have some previous releases in their catalog, and it's a bunch of either EPs or singles, I believe. And they released a new song on Friday called Take Me, and it's definitely a pop song, very, I don't want to say dance rhythm or type of arrangement, but along those lines, it's definitely an interesting arrangement. It's definitely a song I can hear on mainstream or a top 40 station. The girls, there's no doubt that the girls can definitely sing, but you don't really get to hear their full talent on this particular song. Personally, I think if you listen to one of their previous songs called Hand in Mine, that's definitely more, I think, what this kind of sound that they should be going for. But I mean, I enjoyed it. Take Me. It's not a bad song. If you're more into the pop music, then you'll definitely enjoy that. Mitchell Tenpenny, who really blew up last year and is a big fan among pop country fans. His album wasn't a bad album that came out last year. It was pretty good. It was just the sound was not traditional country, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So Friday he released a cover of the classic song Just to See You Smile, originally recorded by Tim McGraw in the 90s, if anyone remembers. And it's not a bad cover. I don't think the song needed a cover, to be honest with you. I don't think it needed a reboot of it. But fans of Tenpenny's will enjoy it. The arrangement is slightly different than the original. It's slowed down a little bit to match his vocal style. So again, it's not bad. I don't think that it was anything worth writing home about, so to speak. But again, fans of Tenpenny's will enjoy it. And then our girl Savannah Kies released a new single called Ghost. And once again, she's put her heart on paper. She's written something that's so relatable. It's about getting too close and then ghosting. I believe that's the term that the kids use these days, because you're afraid that the other person's going to leave you first or get bored with you or get scared away by your issues. So she's just really good at writing songs that are so relatable. She's somebody who's influenced by Train's Pat Monahan. And if you listen to this song and her other two songs, Hypocrite and Good Day, you definitely get a feel for that. And you can see how she's influenced by him. So she's definitely somebody that I think is worth keeping an eye on for. Again, she's one of the song suffragettes. So we're obviously, if you listen to last week's episode, we're very big fans of them. And then somebody else that just released a new song. Again, another rising artist, Hayden Kaufman. His song, That's Just Me. If you like a lot of twang with your country, this is definitely a song that you should listen to. It's a little bit more on the traditional sounding side. It's pretty much what you'd expect based on the title. There's nothing like lyrically amazing about it. It's just pretty basic. But again, if you're into the traditional country sound with lots of twang, then check that out. Another female artist that released some new music is Brittany Kellogg. Again, a new rising up-and-coming artist. Her EP, Someone Somebody Loves. Standout track to me was Ever Again. She's got a sweet voice with a little something extra that I can't really pinpoint, but there's just something there that I think I'd like to see her explore on further new releases. And then, so the title track, Someone Somebody Loves, is an interesting song. And I think it really shows off her songwriting abilities. And then Adam Craig, who, if anyone follows the country genre really closely, he's somebody who's been on the rise for a while. He's got some previous releases, and he just released 2 new songs on Friday called If You're Lucky and Whatever You're Drinking To. They both have this very country, small town type of vibe to it. And Whatever You're Drinking To it's a song that it's just about celebrating everyday life with a drink, whether it's you're celebrating a bad day or you're celebrating a good day, whatever you're drinking to. It's a kind of song that you might play at a bar, or really a song that you would enjoy live, in my opinion. And then Little Big Town, The Daughters. So again, we talked about this in the beginning with the ACM recap. Powerful song. It touches on society's expectations of women and how we pray to God the Son and God the Father, but like they say in the song, like we're still waiting on a God for the daughters. Like, I guess I can see in a way where some people would find the controversy in that, but again, if you look at the bigger picture, it's not meant to tackle religion. It's just meant to really tackle more of, again, the expectations that society has for females. They want us to be this and that and, do this while still doing that. And yet where are the expectations on men? So, it's not something I want to go into great detail about on this podcast, but it's just listen to the song. And, if you like it, great. Keep listening to it. Support it the same way that people supported Girl Crush when they first released that. It's the same thing. If you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. It's that simple, Do you guys have any other new music alerts? I feel like I just did all of the talking.
Well, Aaron Lewis released another track off his upcoming album. And it's pretty amazing. He gets a lot of flack for some of the stuff he's been saying live at his shows, but
yeah,
the song itself is called "The Party's Over." is really good. A lot of drinking references, a lot of references to loneliness,
which is a very common theme on all of his albums.
Yes.
And his new album actually comes out this Friday.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. It's a pretty good one.
So that's all I got for new music alerts. So if you have a couple more, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to jump to my music picks of the week.
All right. Sounds good.
Really quick.
Okay.
Really quick. Billy Ray Cyrus has done a song with Nas.
Oh, I know. And you know what? Like I feel like that's almost like an entire episode by itself, because
he's going to be a 2-hit wonder.
And then there's people debating. There was people who were interviewing the stars, the country singers, on the red carpet on Sunday. And
asking about
Brother
that?
Osborne tweeted about this. They kept getting baited by everyone who they talked to with a microphone. They kept trying to ask oh, well, what do you think about it? Do you think it's country? And it's no, it's not freaking country. We're not the kings on what's country and what's not. We're all about a fresh sound and everything. But that is not country.
But Cowboy Troy was? Oh,
at least he was authentic.
Right, this is literally a rap singer who just threw on a has-been, and just because you talk about an Old Town Road, you drop the word country in there, that does not give you the right to label this freaking song country. It's just not.
Hold on, you just called Billy Ray Cyrus a has-been. Hold on.
He is.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, he has rode his daughter's coattails for the last 15 years. But I get exactly. You. Yeah, no. I had to bring that up. That song's driving me nuts right now. So.
Yeah, same. I saw that this morning, and it was just so annoying. I can't even formulate a proper argument to it. But other than it's not country. Don't support that song. I'm sorry.
Unless you like Billy Ray Cyrus, then support that song.
Or if you like rap, hip hop, go support it. But don't call it country.
I don't know if anybody in the rap hip hop community is going to support that song either.
Maybe Adam Levine. He thinks hip hop is where it's at. So,
and that's fine. Like, I'm not dissing hip hop. I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with people. I have a problem with people trying to ride the tails of country music when you shouldn't be.
I don't even know if it's riding the tails is poking fun at Billy Ray.
I don't even think it's poking fun at Billy Ray. I think it's honestly like trying to jump on the bandwagon that's country music. I'm not a fan of it at all. I'm not a fan of what it's doing.
It might be just to get people to talk. It did get people talking though. So
yeah, unfortunately.
It's gonna be a number it's gonna be a number one.
God, don't say that. I really hope not. I don't see how. It's a horrible song.
Did you ever hear Achy Breaky 2?
Achy Breaky 2? No.
That's a thing. It's a rap song. No joke. Look at it.
Yep. I didn't hear that. I didn't know it was. I didn't even know it existed.
It's pretty rough.
Sounds like it.
So, Amanda's music pick of the week. This week, it's actually a throwback because, I could sit here and tell you how I've basically had the same like 3 or 4 songs on repeat, which is Jake Owen's Homemade and Senorita, and then OAR. Pretty much their whole album, and a few other songs as well. But all those songs I talked about last week or the week before. So, my music pick of the week this week is a throwback because 2 weeks ago when we had Annie on, we dug back into David Neal's catalog a little bit, but mostly his first album. And then over the weekend, since then, I've been going back and listening to some of his other albums. And the Fire album, there's a song on there called Ease Your Pain. So it's from 2016. Such a great song, great melody. Just incredible lyrics. That's the song I really had on repeat right now, so that's kind of why it's my pick of the week. If you haven't heard it yet, go check it out. I think Annie and I said this 2 weeks ago. Just go check out all of David Neal's albums in general. You really won't be disappointed. He's such an incredible songwriter, great vocalist.
Strangers on a Train, amazing song.
I know Annie brought that up a couple weeks ago when she was on. But yeah. Like I said, one of my favorite songs by him is Ease Your Pain. So that's pretty much like what I've been listening to. Do you have a pick of the week?
Which one?
You. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting that there's 2 Riches.
Well, mine would be the new George Strait album.
Okay. We're going to dig into that a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Well, my pick from the album then is Some Nights.
Okay. And again, don't go into too much detail because we're going to talk about that when we dig into the album. So artists to be on the lookout for, again, Savannah Kais. I can't really say enough good things about her. She writes the most relatable lyrics that come from such a genuine place. She's got a unique sound and such an abundance of talent. She's definitely got that whole girl next door vibe about her, and she's still someone who everyone, would want to be friends with. Another group that came out, I think it was the beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken, released their debut EP, was a group called Gone West. For those of you who don't know, this country group features Colby Calais, one of her basically her number one songwriter, who's been with her throughout her pretty much her whole career, Jason Reeves, and then both of their spouses. And if you haven't heard this EP yet, it's called Tides. Please go check it out. It's such a catchy EP. Great songs on there. There's a song on there actually called Gone West, which I love. There's another song on there called Confetti, which is such a fun song. And then there's 2 other ones which are a little bit more slowed down. But overall, a great EP, and I can't wait to see what else they release later this year because I know they're working on more new music. And then Nikita Carmen, who is somebody who we featured on TBK's website a couple times already, and she's Australian, and we all know the best things come from Australia. Keith Urban. Morgan Evans as well. And so she's got a sound we haven't really heard before from any other singer-songwriters. She's soft-spoken, but the words she's singing she speaks volumes. She knows how to tell a great story. And she's got some really good melodies. And yeah, her songs are great. She's someone else who I can't wait to see what else she releases. And then Eric Etheridge, whose EP I reviewed for the website as well last year. He is Canadian, and he used to be a chiropractor, but quit to move to Nashville to pursue his music full time. So that's interesting. But yeah, his debut self-titled EP came out last year. Features a song which was a highway find. Again, if you're listening to Sirius XM radio, The Highway. And so his song, If You Met Me First, such a great song. If you want more details on what I think of his EP, you can go find the article on TBK's website. And yeah, I'm hoping he's working on some more new music. And I know he's been doing some touring, but he hasn't announced like a full leg or anything like that. It's just kind of a few random shows that have been popping up, I think. So it'll be interesting to see what we have to look forward to from him later this year. And so that's it for artists to be on the lookout for. And then in music news, Sully Erna from Godsmack announced that he's starting the Scars Foundation to support those who struggle with mental health.
I don't even know what to say. That's just awesome.
I know. So this next part I'm going to read directly from the press release that they announced. It's dedicated to providing resources and tools to educate and empower people on a global level that struggle with these burdens. So, that's going to be amazing. Any donation goes straight into the foundation itself.
That's awesome.
I'm so great to see artists doing amazing things like that. And then Stained has been teasing whether or not a reunion is happening for them at the Louder Than Life Festival. Aaron Lewis has been teasing it for a little while now, I feel like, on his social medias. So it's unsure of what's going to happen with that. I wouldn't be surprised, but then again, I remember him saying a while back that Stained was kind of done. So we'll see.
And Stain wasn't the only band announced for Louder Than Life. Another band announced their first stop of 2019. Guns N' Roses.
Oh, boy.
Oof. I don't even know what to say to that. Does anyone remember Chinese Democracy? Does anybody?
And they're also working on new music. Well, they will be very soon. So, fun note, though. Duff McKagan right now is doing a solo tour because he has a solo album coming out.
Okay.
And on that album and on that tour, he's working with Shooter Jennings, one of Waylon's kids.
Interesting.
Yes. It's going to be wild, I'm sure.
And so that's a great segue into our next segment, which is On the Road. So recent tour and festival announcements. Sarah Bareilles, who also released a new album this past Friday. I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but she's doing the Amidst the Chaos tour. So if you're a Sarah Bareilles fan, check her out.
Love
I've been
Sarah
a fan
Bareilles.
of some of her songs before.
Yes. I'm in.
And then I believe Pink is bringing her Beautiful Trauma World Tour back, from what I read through Live Nation. And then for all you hip-hop rap fans, the Made in America tour, which features Travis Scott, Cardi B, Juice WRLD, James Blake, Cascade, Kodak Black, and a couple others who I'm not familiar with. But we don't want to, neglect any of our hip-hop fans who are listening, if there are any listening. So go check out the Made in America tour if that's up your alley. And then Deadmau5, who I've never listened to before in my life.
DJ, wears a huge?
He's a DJ.
Yeah, just wears a huge mouse head. It's great. I don't understand it, but it's great.
So he's got his Cube V3 2019 tour coming. if you're a Deadmau5 fan, go check that out. And then Friday morning, was it Friday morning? Miranda Lambert announced her Roadside and Pink Guitars tour. With Maren Morris, Elle King, Pistol Annies, Tenille Towns, Ashley McBride, and Kaylee Hammack. Now, not all of those artists are going to be all on one bill at the same time. Different artists.
That's a lot of artists to be on one show.
Different tours. Not different tours, different cities. I'm sorry.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think she did a great job at picking out her openers, for sure.
Absolutely.
The tour, it's not a very big tour. It's not coming to a lot of cities, but check out the dates on her website, I'm sure. And you can, if it comes through, I would definitely probably check it out just because of the opening acts alone are really great. And then, you guys come across any other recent tour or festival announcements?
Yeah, I have a few. ZZ Top just announced a tour with Cheap Trick. Not a Cheap Trick fan. However, ZZ Top is pretty badass. Saw Billy in the beginning of the year at House of Blues for his blues album with Matt Sorum, who was in GNR, and another guy. And it was pretty awesome. So to see him back with the other two guys is going to be pretty fun. Sad news. Ozzy's canceled all 2019 shows. He fell, not doing very well. Sad for people in the Midwest because he was scheduled to play Summerfest with Megadeth on 4th of July. So that's going to be a bummer. However, Megadeth is playing in Aurora this summer. So that should be interesting. And then, of course, the big tour, Black Label Society is on their 20 Years of Brutality, 2 nights in each city. First night, they're playing their first album, Sonic Brew, in its entirety. And the second night, they're playing their greatest hits. So that's going to be pretty fun. Get to go see that in a few weeks. So, if you're, a metal fan, horns up.
And then, so I think that's probably it for On the Road, right?
I got tickets to a new show. Now, the last time I talked about this, it was Rascal Flatts. Mm-hmm. Not excited about that.
Okay.
Well, I think he's got a whiny voice. That's just me personally.
Well, I mean, but the songs are good.
No, I do like a couple of their songs, but it's like the old stuff. But I digress. So doing the website thing, you get some weird perks sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I get an email going, "Hey, you've covered events at our venue before. Would you be willing to come cover another event?" And I went, "Yeah, fine. I don't care what it is." Then I find out it's Carly Rae Jepsen.
Oh boy!
And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Now I'm in, and I've got to. For some reason, I'm more excited about this than I am Rascal Flatts. That's my moment of conversation for the day.
So she did announce a theater tour. I know she's coming to Chicago Theater.
She's doing a bunch of small venues, and I dig that.
Yeah, for anyone listening who's not familiar with Carly Rae Jepsen, she had a big hit a few years ago, Call Me Maybe.
She's got another one now. I don't like it. Almost went number 1 late last year, but But that's all I know.
Yeah.
But
I don't listen to anything else by her.
I'm in. I was just like, I know the one song. Let's do it. It's in July.
Well, that'll be fun for you.
Yeah, I you know me. I love weird stuff. I'm gonna go to the off-kilter things that no one else will go to. That's pretty much me.
That's true.
So, and Weird Al. I'm in Weird Al. I don't know why that's a big thing, but I'm excited.
Weird Al. I didn't know he was coming.
He is going to be doing a theater tour this year with a symphony.
Oh, that should be interesting.
A Weird Al show with a 40-piece orchestra.
Speaking of comedians who are going on tour, Adam Sandler announced an amphitheater tour.
I saw that. I just went, okay, I'm in because I like Sandler's old stuff, but if it's just him singing, I'm definitely in.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to expect, so I'm out for that. But I mean, if you're a fan, definitely go check it out.
Didn't even know he was. I didn't even know he was still going to do anything like this ever again. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, same.
It's like last week when we talked about Tenacious D. Like what?
Right. Yeah, it's very random. So heading into our hot topic of the week, our first on the podcast so far. This is the first time we've done this segment. So this week, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about concert etiquette because this is a big.
Sorry, I just started laughing. I don't even know where this is going, but I'm already giggling. So continue on.
Basically, the moral of this is don't be a jackass when you're out at concerts. If you can't handle your liquor, don't drink. Or make your friend count your drinks for you. Like, do something. Just don't turn into a jackass. Because the people around you, I guarantee you, are going to hate you.
Why do I feel like you're talking to me?
No, I'm talking to these
There's a story
really
here.
obnoxious women who I was surrounded by at the concert on Friday. They were very obnoxious. They didn't start out obnoxious, but as the night went on, I think most of her drinks ended up on me. So I was not happy, and I'm lucky I didn't get kicked out because I was really tempted. Of course not, because a guy is going to be different when it's a girl. But if a guy had spilled a drink on you, I guarantee you would have flipped out.
Depends on the drink. If I could just wring it out of my shirt, I'm 100% fine.
Yeah, no. See, that's a guy thing. I'm sorry.
No, that's just because I like liquor. That's all that there is with that.
The words "excuse me" and really, the words "excuse me" and "thank you" go a long way when you're at a concert. Even if they can't hear you, at least just like lightly tap them on their back, so they're aware that you're trying to squeeze through, and then everything's okay.
I assume you're in a standing room only.
If you just push through, what?
You're in standing room only when this is going on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're just pushing your way through without saying anything, and you're very rude about it, I'm gonna probably turn around and say something to you. Just saying. Fair warning. If you see me out at a concert.
Music reporter punches fan. Movie at 11.
I'm telling you, there's times, like one of these days, you guys are going to see me on an episode of Snapped, okay?
Or live PD, depending on where you go.
Yeah, exactly. Watch your drink when you're dancing. I get it. We all want to have a good time at a concert. Hey, I want to have a good time too. That's why I'm telling you this.
Who dances at a concert?
So some people do. Okay. I don't personally. Well, it depends. But basically, so there's a certain kind of dancing you do. Like a sold out show is not the place for twerking or dropping it like it's hot. Save that for the club. Okay? That simple.
It depends on the concert.
The band can't see you. Like, they're not paying attention to you. I'm sorry. They're not going to see you dancing, like, shaking your ass. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, don't bother, because all you're doing is bumping into me, and you're pissing me off. Limit your dancing when the show is sold out, people. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, someone peed in your Cheerios this week, didn't they?
Friday night, I'm telling you, I was ready to get into a fight.
Did you text me that?
Like I don't remember if I did or not. I very well could have.
You've texted me a couple of times from a concert saying I'm about ready to punch somebody.
Yeah. Respect people's personal space as much as possible. I get it. It's a sold out show. We're going to be touching, like, that's fine. But if you're able to, just respect. Yeah, like, just respect people's personal space if you're able to, like, as much as possible, you know? I get it. We're all going to get to know each other a little bit better than we did when we first got there. But, you know, just, you don't have to be right on top of somebody. You don't. Not unless, like, they're packing us in there like sardines, which has happened before. I'm not going to lie. I get it. But just, you know, if you have the space, use it. Utilize it. Like, don't make the rest of us suffer.
Deodorant. If you're in a crowd that big, please wear deodorant.
Yeah, please. Shower, use deodorant. Don't go overboard on the cologne or the perfume.
Guys are taking away all the fun.
I'm not trying to take away people's fun. I'm trying to make the concert more enjoyable for people. Just saying. So that is my hot topic rant of the week. Concert etiquette, people. Don't be jackasses.
That might be the
and
title.
now for our feature segment.
And that's the title of this week's episode.
Don't be a jackass at a concert?
Yeah.
I promise I'm a ball to be out with. I promise. But yeah. So moving on to our feature segments. Unless somebody else has a soapbox they want to get on and rant about something.
That's not music related, but I could.
Oh no. Only if it's music related, guys. Okay then. So the first part of our feature segment is a review of George Strait's latest album, Honky Tonk Time Machine, which recently went *1. So it is his 27th #1 album. So this came out last Friday, and
2 Fridays ago.
2 Fridays ago. I'm sorry. Yeah. So to me, I mean, he's the king for a reason, obviously. And it's not a bad album. It's not. But to me, it feels like a typical George Strait album, at least within the last few years.
Timeless is the word you're looking for.
It's not bad, but there's nothing other than Some Nights, which is an amazing song. There's nothing that really stands out in the same way that his older hits did. Like, I want to hear, like... That's a big word for you. I want to hear another, like, You Look So Good in Love, or another, write this down. I want to hear, I don't want to hear repeats of those songs, but I want to hear the next one of those kind of songs. Like, give me something here to talk about.
Well, let's talk about the real travesty here. The real travesty is that George Strait has not been played on country radio since his album from 2013 came out, Love Is Everything, with the song was Give It All We Got Tonight, and I think Got a Car might have gotten just a teeny bit of airplay.
So the problem is, and I agree, he definitely should be played on mainstream country radio, but the problem is there's a lot of people that are not played on country radio. There's a lot of women that are not played on mainstream country radio. So the problem is the radio stations, the program directors, why they're not playing these people, the labels, why they're not pushing it. That's the problem.
I mean, that's 6 years without the king of country music on country music radio.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, like, if you're going to make room for somebody like, and again, I'm not knocking Mitchell Tenpenny, I liked his album, but if you're going to make room for somebody like that, and for, like, Thomas Rhett's new song and Luke Bryan's new song, which is a travesty, and Kane Brown, then I think there's room for everybody, and that includes the legends like George Strait, Alan Jackson, etc., as well as all these upcoming, rising female artists. There's room for everybody. It's just a matter of, not playing the same 10 songs over and over. Again, country radio, get your head out of its ass.
It's just like it is on every other radio, though.
No, I feel like I hear more variety on the pop stations than I do country radio.
There's more.
And it's a problem.
I could one up you and just let you listen to the stations from around here, and you'd hear the same 3 songs on all the stations, except for the oldie station, which plays the same 5 songs.
Yeah, I mean, mainstream radio in general just has problems. Program directors need to get with it and realize that people go to satellite radio and online radio and just their music, their Apple Music or Spotify libraries for a reason, because they're sick of hearing the same stuff over and over. So if you want to get more listeners, then listen to the people. That's all there is to it. So going back to George Strait's album, the standout track for me was Some Nights. I think
my favorite
even though it centers around the depression brought on by a breakup, I think the chorus, it's what's really most relatable and sticks out because of how emotional it gets. And I think it's one of his best songs in a while. Another song that stood out was God in Country Music, which he actually performed at the award show on Sunday. It's a really powerful song. So is The Weight of the Badge. So he really tackles some heavy subject matter on this album, at least in a couple of songs like those two. So those 3 for me were the 3 that really stood out the most. Other than that, the rest of the album was, just okay. It was a little uneventful. Blue Water, Take Me Away, What Goes Up, they were okay. Maybe a little bit better than mediocre. The album definitely deserves radio play. I'll give it that. But again, to me, it feels like a typical George Strait album. There's nothing other than those 3 songs I mentioned. There's nothing for me that stands out and screams like outstanding.
Well, he's got two faster paced ones on there. One that he did at the end of the awards, and another one. Every Honky Tonk Bar and Honky Tonk Time Machine are both two good two-stepping songs. And the other one is actually a cover, which probably most people didn't realize, but he covers a Johnny Paycheck song called "Oh Violin." Check that song out. What an amazing story it tells. The original is amazing. I would check out the original as well. He kept it pretty similar. He kind of changes it up towards the end. Very good track. And then he finally gets to sing with Willie Nelson. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that. So I would check that one out as well. And that one's called "Sing One with Willie." Very fun song. They go back and forth. Check it out.
So something I think that's interesting about George Strait is he surrounds himself with the same great songwriters that he always has. He doesn't really switch it up from album to album very much.
Well, the big change is the last 4 or 5 albums or so, maybe even 6 albums. He's actually done a lot of the co-writing on there with his son and, of course, with the songwriter legend himself, Dean Dillon. And
there's actually a documentary on, I believe it's Hulu, about Dean Dillon that you can watch if you're interested in digging more into his work with George Strait.
It's called Tennessee Whiskey, which most people don't realize that Dean Dillon wrote that song.
Which Chris Stapleton recorded.
Yes, and of course before him you had David Allan Coe and the Possum himself, Mr. George Jones.
So, I mean, that's pretty much what I took away from the George Strait album. I know, obviously, like, you being a huge fan, enjoyed it a lot more than I did.
Yes. He's the king of country music for a reason. He's never gone away. He's always been there. If you go back to 2016, he came out with Straight Out of the Box Volume 2. Had 2 new songs on it. One that he wrote with the great Jamie Johnson, kicked out of country music, which is exactly what's happened to him. They've kicked him off the radio. They hardly invite him to anything anymore, and that's just sad. We go back a little bit further, 2015, the year that he announced his Vegas residency, he put out an album, great album, called Cold Beer Conversation, which is an awesome song. Cheaper Than a Shrink, which is a funny, great song, wrote with Jamie Johnson. Take Me to Texas, which is great. And Everything I See, which was about his dad, because his dad had just passed. So the King's never gone anywhere. Go out and check out some of this stuff, especially the new album. You won't be disappointed.
And if you're not super familiar with George Strait, go pick up his 50 number 1 hits collection. Yes.
And then the album with even more additional hits that didn't make number 1. That's a good one, too.
If you consider yourself a country fan, like, go back and do your homework. Go dig into the artists that really kicked the genre off and put it on the map. And George Strait is definitely one of those artists.
And just to kind of put it in perspective just a little bit more, when George Strait was getting ready to turn 60, all the mainstream, huge, popular country artists each recorded a little video about a song or a memory of him. And Darius Ruckers was, when he decided to do country music, him and I believe it was his producer were sitting or driving around, and he heard a George Strait song. He goes, "Man, yeah, I want to make a song that sounds like that. They don't make songs that sound like that anymore." And his producer goes, "Darius, that's his new song." And he goes, "What? That's his new song?" That's how timeless the King sounds. And that song was Give It Away.
Yeah, I mean, his sound has not really changed. His voice, as you get older, your voice changes. That's just what happens. But his hasn't. He's really kept the same sound. And I feel like he records a lot of the same type of songs as well. Consistent, yeah. Consistent is a good word to describe George Strait.
Yep.
So that is the first part of our feature segment, our review of George Strait's Honky Tonk Time Machine. So if you get the chance, go check that out. Again, listen, check out the songs. Personally, I recommend Some Nights, God and Country Music, The Weight of the Badge. And then, the rest of the songs, like I said, they're not bad. They're, they're typical George Strait. I mean, it's all in the name. I mean,
it's all in his delivery.
Exactly. So part 2 of our feature segment tonight is a review of the Cadillac 3. We saw them on Friday night at Joe's Bar in Chicago.
I was born. This is
all right. We want people to listen to the podcast, not tune out. So, Cadillac 3, for anyone who is not familiar, it is literally 3 guys who are 3 of the most talented artists and singers, songwriters, musicians that you will ever see, especially in Nashville alone. Every time they've played at Joe's on Weed Street, they just blow the roof off the place. This time around, they played a really good variety of songs from all 3 of their albums, including a new song, which was really badass. And yeah, I mean, between the 3 of them, they have a slew of #1 hits, not just their own songs, which I mean, none of their own personal songs have gone #1, but they write for a lot of other artists in the country music genre. And I mean, Jaron Johnston alone, who's the lead singer, he has written for Keith Urban, Tim McGraw, Jake Owen, Billy Currington, Frankie Ballard. I mean, the list goes on.
His band of all time. Don't forget about them. He's literally written on a Leonard Skinner album.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're very gritty, southern rock, swampy. They don't hold back at all. They're definitely a fun band to see live. And I mean, they have one volume, and that is just all the way up. Oh. They don't turn it down at all. Even when they're playing their version of like a love song, they don't turn it down.
Should we give a little history on them?
Yeah, go ahead.
So they started off as a 4-piece band called American Bang back when they even did a festival some people might know called Lollapalooza. Yeah, they were on that festival at one time as American Bang. If you don't have that album, check it out. Great song on there called Whiskey Walk. You won't regret it. Then they transferred into a 3-piece band as the Cadillac Black. Not exactly sure what happened with the name, but they had to change it over to the Cadillac 3.
And so it's Jaron Johnston, Kelby Ray, and Neil Mason.
Yes.
For anyone who's not familiar. They are one of the only or very few country acts who actually use a steel guitar.
Yes.
Kelby Ray plays a lap steel guitar. He also plays bass, I believe. Neil Mason plays drums. They both do backup vocals, and then Jaron Johnston is lead vocals and lead guitar. And I mean, each one of them is just as crazy talented as the other. It's really ridiculous. They also, something that I noticed seeing them live now for quite a few times, they know how good they are. They're not afraid to tell you, but they don't do it in like a douchey kind of way. But they definitely know how good they are, and they point it out. Not gonna lie. But I mean, if I were them, I think I'd point it out too. Like, those guys are just insanely talented. Honestly, I'm really surprised they haven't played Smokeout yet. Windy City Smokeout, for anyone again familiar with the Chicago area. Ed Warm, who's in charge of Joe's on Weed Street and Joe's Live, he's clearly a big fan of them. He keeps inviting them back. So I feel like they would be a good fit for Windy City Smokeout.
They have played Lake Shake, I believe, twice.
Really?
Yes, they played the first year of Lake Shake, and I believe they played 2 years ago.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So their new stuff that they played one song. I forget exactly the name of it. Something about whiskey and something else.
Whiskey drinkers and weed smokers. That was the main line.
But it's definitely got a more rock-oriented, less of a swampy sound about it. It's definitely, none of their stuff is poppy, but the last album, Legacy, that they put out had a little bit more of a softer sound to it, softer compared to their previous stuff.
More of a groovier sound.
Yeah. Whereas this new song definitely kicks it up like a whole lot more. To me, I kind of heard a bit of a Metallica like vibe on it. It definitely like gets really heavy in the choruses. So yeah, I definitely, like I said, picked up on a Metallica kind of vibe. One of the best live bands you will ever see.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. So their set list included I'm Southern, which, and back it up, Whiskey Soaked Redemption, I believe they played as well. All three were on their first album. I think they played Get Your Buzz On.
Yes.
And then off of the second album they put out, Bury Me in My Boots, they played Bury Me in My Boots, Slide, Drunk Like You, Graffiti, Party Like You, Soundtrack to a Six Pack, White Lightning, The South, Peace, Love, and Dixie, Runnin' Red Lights, which Jaron Johnson actually did by himself on the guitar. That was really cool. And then off of their latest album, Legacy, they played Cadillacin', American Slang, and I think that was really it off of the latest album.
Hank and Jesus.
Okay, Hank and Jesus. And then I believe on the, again, going back to the first album, they also played Long Hair Don't Care? Or is that off the Legacy?
Nope, that's off Legacy.
Okay, and then Tennessee
Mojo's off the first one.
Right, but then there's another song just called Tennessee.
Oh, that's off Legacy.
Okay, and then Buzzin', I don't remember if they played that one or not.
I don't remember if they did, but I believe that's off of Legacy. No, it's off of Bury Me in My Boots.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you definitely won't be bored at a Cadillac 3 show, that's for sure. So if you've heard of them before, if you've been debating whether or not to go see them live, definitely go check it out. I promise you won't be disappointed.
They're worth every cent.
They really are. And just to put it in perspective, some of the songs that just Jaron Johnson alone has written for other artists, he's written You Gonna Fly and Raise 'Em Up by Keith Urban. He wrote Jake Owen's Days of Gold and Beachin'. Southern Girl by Tim McGraw.
Gold's actually off the first album.
Right, but Jake recorded it as well.
Yeah, after they did.
And then, so Southern Girl by Tim McGraw. Meanwhile, Back at Mama's, which Tim McGraw did with Faith Hill. Frankie Ballard, It All Started with a Beer, as well as Sunshine and Whiskey. And there's another Frankie Ballard song, I believe, as well. And then he also wrote Don't It by Billy Currington. And again, that's just a small handful. Like, the list goes on. Neil Mason has written for a bunch of artists as well. But yeah, that's everything I got on Cadillac 3. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Just go check them out. If you can go see a show, do it. Buy their albums. They're worth every cent of it. You're not going to be disappointed. I think they're everything that country needs, and I think they're everything that music needs. They bring a nice mix of country, southern rock, and rock and roll as well. So check them out.
They definitely need to be. They're definitely a band that needs to be heard more on mainstream radio. And when they first released their song "The South," which features Tyler Hubbard from Florida Georgia Line and Mike Eli from the Eli Young Band and Dierks Bentley, that song definitely saw some mainstream country play. But since then, I haven't heard anything. But I mean, again, if you go through
White
the catalog,
Lightning got a lot of was very noticed as well.
I think on satellite radio though. I don't know if they actually got any airplay on mainstream country radio.
And I believe satellite also picked up "Drunk Like You."
Possibly, yes. But again, go through their catalog and you'll see what we're saying. They definitely more than deserve to be on country radio. with their own music, not just the songs that they've written for other people.
That's right.
But yeah, so unless you guys have anything else to add, music related, I think that kind of wraps up episode 4. Anybody?
No, I got nothing.
Yeah, so again, just to recap, we talked ACMs, new music, new tours, and the George Strait album and Cadillac 3. So make sure you go check out all the artists we've mentioned tonight. And then next week we'll be back with a whole bunch more music for you. I'm not sure what comes out this Friday, other than off the top of my head, the Aaron Lewis album.
Yes.
But I'm sure there's some other stuff in there for everyone else if you're not a fan of him. And then, we got more planned. I have the shows for the next 3 weeks planned. Annie will be back on to talk with me to review the new Rob Thomas album after it comes out. So we have that to look forward to. And then next week we have Ed Souter.
You're gutsy. You're gutsy.
To discuss. We're going to be doing the best and worst of hair metal and glam rock from the 80s.
I've got my list.
So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Ed is a publisher for Burning Willow Press. He does a lot of work with TBK magazine.
Actually, just posted a poem of his today. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you can check that out at tbkmagazine.com.
And then check us out on our socials. The TBK Magazine for the Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram. And then go check out the Striking a Chord Facebook page and Instagram page as well. Give us a like. Write us a review on the podcast. Rate us 5 stars, or if you only think we're worth 3 stars, that's okay too. You can go rate us, as long as I know you're listening.
Just want to say we're just slightly above average. That's how I'm going to go with life now. Just slightly above average.
Slightly above average, yeah.
Slightly above average.
I like to think we're at least slightly above average.
That's how I look at it.
I don't know. Some of you guys' greatest albums of all time were questionable. Just saying.
They weren't our greatest albums of all time. They were our most influential albums.
I could argue this.
Right.
I could argue this right now. We could go off, and I could get hate mail for years, and I am fine with it.
But yeah, so keep listening to Striking a Chord. Let us know what you think, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear a little less of. I have a whole bunch of topics for future episodes, and we're still working on some artist interviews. So we have all that to look forward to and a whole bunch more. Just let us know what you think. And until next time, happy listening.